Okay, let me give you just a little encouragement going into this new year. We've all been in this spot. We've all experienced this thing, whether a lot or a little bit. It's this thing called disappointment. Now, you might be looking back on last year and been like, man, what a disappointment. You might be looking into 2019, into next year, thinking to yourself, man, I hope it's not like last year. And you might be right now walking in the middle of a disappointment where you plan something to go a certain way and be a certain way, and for whatever reason, it's not. I want to give you some encouragement today. It's in the book of Romans, chapter 5, starting at verse 3. It says this: we can rejoice too when we run into problems and trials, for we know that they help us develop endurance. And endurance develops strength of character, and character strengthens our confident hope of salvation. And this hope will not lead to disappointment. For we know how dearly God loves us because he has given us the Holy Spirit to fill our hearts with his love. As you're walking through maybe a great time, or if you're walking through a disappointing time, I want you to understand this. The confident hope that we have in God will not leave us in disappointment. It will not lead us to, and it will not leave us in disappointment. You know what you do when you step out in faith and things don't work out the way you planned them? You know what you do when you're dealing with disappointment? You allow God to use that to grow you. You allow the Holy Spirit to come close to you. Because what it does, it develops endurance. What it does, it develops strength, it develops courage, and it develops hope. So if you're dealing with failure last year, and you're dealing with anxiousness about the new year, I want you to lean on the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit wants to help you, wants to guide you, it wants to empower you to have the absolute best year of your life in 2019. God has big plans for you this year. You want hope in 2019? Ask God for it. You want endurance to get through 2019? Ask God. You want to grow closer to God and become all that he's created you to be in 2019? Ask God. And don't be scared of failing. Failing is a part of life. We all fail. But when we do have failures, we've got to remember, they're just failures. They aren't who we are. We are not failures. You and I will fail, but we are not failures. So I don't know what your plans are for the next year. I don't know where fear is creeping into your life in 2019. I want you to know this. If you want to be confident this year, you got to have the Holy Spirit. If you want to grow in your character, grow in who you are this year, you have got to have the Holy Spirit. And if you want to have hope for an awesome year, you've got to have the Holy Spirit. And what is the Holy Spirit? The Holy Spirit is essentially this. When we ask Jesus to come into our lives, when we ask God to come near us and live inside of us, the Holy Spirit fills us, and the Holy Spirit gives us power, it gives us strength, it gives us courage to get through the times that are sometimes disappointing, to get through the times that are really, really low, and to make 2019 the best year of your life. God has big plans for you this year. He wants to do awesome stuff in your life, and he wants to get you through the really high awesome stuff and the really low disappointing times. And he does that through the Holy Spirit. Okay, so going into the new year, some people are super excited about this next year, right? Truth is, some folks are like really nervous and really anxious about this next year. What do you say to somebody to encourage them who's not looking forward to next year?
To keep their head high and know that God will be with them and right there next to them to help them through that. And if they keep their head up and believe that he's there, that things will go great.
Yeah? Do you do that in your life?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about it.
Well, sometimes I get nervous for things, or I go to do something to step out of my comfort zone, and I don't really want to do it, but like I either pray or I know that God's there, and it comforts me, and yes.
Good. That's great. How about you, Quinn? What encouragement would you give to people going into 2019 who are like not looking forward to the year?
I think it's important to just know that there's going to be failure in the year. Like, that's just how it goes, but God is there to help you bounce back. So you shouldn't believe that the year's going to be perfect, because then you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. I think it's just important to know that even when things don't go right, like, God's there to help you bounce back from it.
Yeah. Has that ever happened in your life where you thought things were going to go good and they didn't, and then you're like, I got to bounce back?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
I think I set a lot of, like, goals for myself at the beginning of the year, like ones that required me to be very consistent, and I'm not always very good at that because I get super busy. And whenever I, like, fail to keep up with that, like, I feel very discouraged and like I've failed, like, the whole year, when really, like, I just have to maybe change some things around or just adjust how I'm doing it.
Yeah, because it's a constant getting better, right? So, like, you learn, and then you get better, and you learn, and you get better. And that works for all of us in every area of our lives, right? Mm-hmm. It's great. Okay, here we go. Best joke of this last year. Talk to me.
Well, I've heard this one, but how do you make an octopus laugh?
How do you make it? Do you know this? Yeah. You do?
Yeah.
What is it?
You give it 10 tickles. Tentacles.
Tickles.
Tentacles. You know, like, tentacles.
Oh, tentacles.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Like tickles, but like tentacles.
That's hilarious. Do you have any other jokes you want?
Yes, wait, I have one. I just thought of one. What do you call a cow with no legs?
Hold on. What do you call a cow with no legs?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Ground beef.
Oh, that's a good one. I'll keep that one. I'm making that one in the new
that's a
year.
good
That's good. Because here's the thing about jokes. I never have any when they're needed.
Right.
I'm always like, hey, you guys want to hear a joke? Like, it's a prayer meeting. We shouldn't be, anyway. You ready? How many birds does it take to screw in a light bulb? Toucan.
A good one.
Well, there it is. Hopefully, 2019 is the best year. Hopefully, 2019 is the year that you grow the most. It's the year that you overcome the most. And it's the year that you encounter God like never before. That is our prayer for you, each and every single one. It's been real. Peace.